Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. He is Jonathan Kinchin. You have a bodyguard with you today.
Yeah, Rod Austin along for the ride. Gave him the tour of Aqueduct just
Yeah, you came here with a fishing pole.
Yeah,
Apparently, some fishing in Central Park.
If we know someone that can get him in the infield, he'll go.
Really?
Yeah.
We can arrange that.
Okay,
We can arrange that. Well, he
ready.
looks like he really wants to
No.
spend the afternoon on the infield. in
Trust me, he would go
38
out there.
degree weather. Anyway, I'm Andy Serling. It's Talking Horses, and we got 10 to talk about, so we'll get right to work. We'll head over to Naira Bets. You know the deal. Bonus 200. We'll match for $200 of your initial deposit. Plays with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Pick 6 carryover. 20,630. That'll start in race 5 of our 10 race card. We have all sorts of stuff. $5,000 hit split. The late pick 5. That starts in race 6. Race after the pick 6. We've got 10 times loyalty points at Del Mar. Closing weekend Del Mar. Did you take much of a look at the Matriarch or the Hollywood Derby?
I hadn't looked yet. No, I got a flight tonight.
Oh, going back
Yeah.
tonight? I thought you were on the show with me
I
tomorrow.
am. I'm flying Austin home tonight and then flying back in the morning.
Come on.
Yeah.
What could go wrong there? So,
Just be ready.
don't tell me those things, will you? Seriously. All right, we've also got 10% win bonus, Churchill Downs. Of course, closing weekend there as well. 2 days left there, 2 days left at Del Mar. They have their Future Stars Day, or the 2-year-olds, I guess, all day long. Magnitude, 100 buyer for Magnitude. Glad to see you win. I'm a big Mag. I mean, figured if I could bet him against Sovereignty, I probably could bet him.
You could figure, yeah, exactly.
I'm tied to Magnitude for the rest of my life. I got to be rooting for him. I need some sort of justification for that. And is that it? Oh, Eddie's very excited. The cross country is back. Tampa and Aqueduct. All these races will be on America's Day at the Races. We'll be covering Tampa today, and 11:30 to 4:30 on FS2. Race number 1, we'll go right to For the Ladies, and it's Carol's Way. For the Ladies is probably going to win this race. I'm not going to argue against. The only problem I have is, one thing you and I really agree on is we like to bet firsters that take a lot of money in their first starts that don't do any running, because where there's smoke, there's often fire. I don't love to bet ones that get bet like this and they lose. And she ran a very good race, a winning race, and then they come back at a short price. But she's going to probably lead these on a merry chase.
I just don't mind when they lose like this. Like,
This was some brutal beat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even
She's
watching it again, it's painful.
Yeah. I almost thought it was the wrong replay for a second. I was like, well, that horse won.
It really is.
Yeah, that horse
Even
won.
watching the replay, it's hard to believe
Yeah,
that
yeah.
horse got up.
Yeah, I don't mind it when they lose like that, especially when they do all the running early. When they do all the running early and then they get nailed like that, when they take a bunch of money, they're some of my favorite horses to bet back.
How much does it bother you at Carol's Way, who I know had a good trip in there and kind of picked up the pieces late, but how much did it bother you she came back and ran 18 buyer points worse?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not good. I mean, you don't love to see it.
Third place finish in that race, won the last race yesterday, right? Was a Linda Rice second-time starter, but did win yesterday's last.
I think what it says to me, it does definitely alert that how good was that race that For the Ladies ran second. Then you have to go to, well, she's all cover. Can she win first time out? And how good is Rage Bait first time out for a trainer, Mike Maker, who can win first time out, but it's not like he has them. You're guessing to a certain extent.
Well, I was going to pick the 3 in here because I wanted an alternative to the 1. And thanks, Ray. Because either that horse came out of a live race first time out and maybe wasn't really a turf horse. So I switched and went to the 5 because I just wanted to pick somebody else. So Yaupon, they've been running. I hear you. Maker he's a winning trainer that's not ultra reliable with first time starting 2-year-olds. I don't disagree. I just went for this one to have an alternative. So I didn't want the other thing about She's All Clover is it's a Calumet homebred, and much as I respect Todd, Calumet homebred, the likelihood that this horse is really good seems minimalized.
I would think so.
All right, see what happens in race number 1. Race number 2 at a mile. We'll start by, we have no videos. You have picked the 5, Ramallah, 1 of 2 for Chad Brown.
Yeah, this was a pedigree thing. There was nothing that had run that was overly interesting to me. I see where you went, same idea, but just a different way with permutation, the $225,000 purchase for Clarvin Stables. Romola, just, the dam hasn't had any really good offspring, but the second dam is Sightseek, a 7-time Grade 1 winner. What more do you need from a pedigree standpoint than that? I just thought this one might be all right, and
I think that both these horses are okay. Whether they're really good, I don't know. All I know is that Permutation came up in a conversation over the summer as a horse that could run a little bit, and I randomly know that Ramala's okay. When I say okay, she could be a stakes horse. She could be, I don't really know exactly how to define that.
She's not going to run for 50, is what you meant?
Well, a friend of mine bought the broodmare of Ramala, and he actually had texted me and said, "Can you ask Chad? He's got a horse, Ramala, a few weeks ago that's out of this dam. Can you ask him?" And he said, "Oh yeah, she's okay." As you know, you talk to trainers and they say okay. Okay could mean really good. Okay could mean okay. I know.
Yeah, they
and
change
I'm
a
not
lot.
trying to put Chad on the spot here, but I think the feeling is that they're both pretty decent. So we'll see. But you didn't think Baffle was at all dangerous in here? Because I see you got her nowhere. I thought she was kind of interesting. She improved a lot off her debut, and she was where I would go if I was going for for a horse that had started. You prefer 360 for Tony.
Yeah, I saw Baffle was a little bit chilly first time out. Then she comes back and doesn't run all that great. She runs a little bit faster, obviously. No, she just didn't really. I thought it was, one of these firsts for Chad I felt like was probably pretty live. And then I thought the 2 and the 3 were just a little bit more interesting. The 2, 360, takes the blinkers off. I thought probably ran pretty well in that off-the-turf race on the dirt. It was in the mud, so you never know what's going to happen there, but was wide, finishing in that race. They tried the turf. Now you're getting back on the dirt.
My problem is it was 4 horses across the track in an off-the-turf 5.5 furlong race.
Yeah.
How good was it? We'll see what happens in race number 2. 2 Bits, who is now stake-faced as a maiden coming out of that race. I got to tell you something. I'm not thrilled with that figure. Looking that Beyer figure up, I don't know if you had that number as high as Beyer. That race, most of the horses out of there are about 10 or more points slower than the 66.
Yeah, there's been a couple of horses that have run well out of there. There's one that's won, a couple that have run second. But, it's always hard, especially in these kind of mid-Atlantic tracks. I feel like those numbers can occasionally get a bit out of whack. But it's because it's a hard task with horses that are coming from different places, different surfaces. You don't really have that reliable checks and balances of, that horse can't run a 75.
Right,
So
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's hard. That's one of the things with 2-year-old figs, and that's why, one of the things that makes me crazier, even than I am already, is the notion of people getting mad when Beyer changes figures. He's trying to make them more accurate. Would you rather he thinks a number is wrong and he doesn't change it?
Yeah, I don't get it.
How would you feel if he thought a number should be changed, Norse came back and ran 15 points higher, and Andy Beyer came afterward and said, I knew that number was wrong, I would have changed it, but people get mad at me when I change the numbers and I didn't. How would they feel then?
Yeah.
It's just dishonest not to change them if you think they're wrong. Yeah. It's the only place I've ever seen where people get mad that somebody's admitting they were wrong.
Yeah, it's like you're driving. My wife drives me insane when I'm driving with her. She's a really bad.
Her and my mother.
Yeah, just slow down, brake 85 minutes early. But if we were going the wrong direction, and then I'm like, oh, we're just going to keep going this way.
Right, exactly, right. I don't want to change, right?
No, we can't change it.
It's a crazy thing. Anyway, we move on to race number 3, to mile and 1/8. I thought this was a very tricky race number 3. And like a Rolling Stone, it was sort of a logical type, scratches out of here. And I want to start off with a horse that you have on top, because this is a horse that I am playing against that's going to be favored. We'll show her last race. I'll let you talk about it, and I'll tell you why I'm against.
Yeah, look, I have a feeling the reason you're against is you thought she had everything her way in this race.
She did.
Yes, I do agree with that, but I do like the fact that I believe that she can handle the 9 furlongs, and that allowed me, with her draw, with the fact that she's at least forward and tactical, it allowed me to override the fact that you're 100% right that she had everything her way in her last race.
And she is helped a little bit by the 1 scratching. It takes a speed out that's inside. It's not so easy to clear even from post 6. And I got to think that Manny Franco is going to go with Fast and Frisky a little bit in this race. And the other thing is, I don't love the idea of a horse that won her non-winners of 1 in her 12th start. Then she's going to win back-to-back races, coming back as the favorite. She's just not the kind of horse I want to bet. The problem is, I don't really know where to go. Like the 2 Mama's Got a Gun. I kind of wanted to pick her. The problem with her is that Linda had entered her for like 17.5. and she scratched. My guess that they scratched is that she has way more value than that as a broodmare in all likelihood, and they didn't want to lose her. So I almost wonder if they're continuing to run her until they're going to breed her. You know, maybe you breed her and you look to sell her at the end of the year. She's a gun runner. She would have gotten claimed, you know, by 800 people. So I wonder a little that. And her last 2 races were so bad, and she's never gotten back that good race. So I started thinking about like horses that have stamina. Obviously, Asa Ira, if she can run back to that race 2 back. She's kind of a horse to beat. I don't really trust her because she's such a 1-number horse. Now, on the other hand, I picked a horse that's a 0-number horse. She doesn't have any figures that are fast enough. But what I would say is, I thought she ran okay in that Asa Ira race. She's a tricky horse to ride. And I thought, in retrospect, Jose moved her a little soon. I'm not criticizing him. I think he was trying to do the right thing, and it's against the way she wants to run. And I'm also looking at her and saying, you know, she ran a 69 Beyer for Linda. It was her second start for Linda, and the one thing that Linda's done to improve this horse is she's gotten her to break. I don't know if you remember this horse, but she kept breaking 5-6 lengths behind the field.
Yep.
She has been breaking with the field in her races, and I thought, you know what? If she can get her to improve a little bit, she's had some times in her last race. She's been entered a few times, MTO. Tough to find these races. I thought maybe she could step forward, and I wanted to take somebody at a bit of a price in here.
Yeah, I mean, look,
That's all I got.
if you're going to try to beat the favorites like that, I think, you know, like you mentioned, you're taking a 0-number horse. You're looking for a complete turnaround. You'll get paid for it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in race 3, which I thought it was just a race that was hard to really trust anybody.
Yeah.
Race number 4, 6 furlongs. We'll take a look at Sassy Princess, who you have second in here to start out. Obviously, she ran huge last time. I mean, she runs back to this race. She's going to be a handful in here. And she's been good in her last 2 races. And I'll tell you something. Amelia figured out to run her on the dirt. Unfortunately for her, she lost her.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I think that it was one of those deals where, you know, look, I sing the praises of the Kaner Mosses and Ilkay in particular on their ability to move horses up or to keep them in their same form. But still, I mean, this is obviously a pretty finicky horse who they stretched out for the first time. She ran really fast. Just the change alone and the fact that she's going to be a short price makes me just a little bit uncomfortable about her. She could absolutely win. I would never not play a pick 5 or something with her in it. I just don't quite trust her on top.
You've got Hey Cookie on top.
Yeah, this is just one where when a horse can run well for 3 different trainers, to me, I start to believe it's about the horse. The horse has got a bit of ability. Look, I thought that the horse would be ignored. I thought the horse would creep up from the 4-1 with some of these other horses taking money in here.
I think she will.
And I thought her figures were right there in the mix.
Doesn't she have to be, I mean, I know she is in the morning line, but doesn't she have to be a significantly bigger race than the 1, 3, and 7?
Certainly she's going to be a bigger price than Hugh. She's going to be 1, 3, and 7.
Yeah, and I don't like this horse, but I think you'd probably get better than 4-1 even with the scratch. Not that Amy's Light was going to take a lot of money. As far as Cadena, we'll show her race 2 back. You know, sometimes I just take the horse that I just think is better than these horses. I thought she ran very well in here. Thought this was a day that you wanted. That speed, the inside speed was very good. She had to chase the winner, who was able to wire the field. Last time out, I think it was a track where speed was definitely good. You know, it was not a huge bias, but it was. And I think this horse has been a bit compromised. Picks up Jose Lezcano for this race, who of course was injured when she ran last time out. I just thought maybe she's better than these.
Do you know if she was MTO last time, or did Linda enter her for the grass? Do you remember?
She has to have been an MTO. I feel like that was a very big field that scratched down. I didn't look it up. I feel like my friend Steve, if he may be away actually, would probably text me and let me know. I feel like she probably was. I mean, that race was a 1-2 merry-go-round affair.
Yeah.
What about Hugh? I'm scared of Hugh.
Yeah, you know, I feel like this happened yesterday where Brad had this horse used to be with Brad.
I don't love ex-Brad, but
yeah, I just the 2 good trainers, turf, and then we're gonna just go to the.
The horse ran okay on the dirt. I mean, it's not like the dirt races. Both of them were okay. Steve is actually watching, and he will tell us she was an MTO. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
I just felt like the horse was gonna be overbet. Could probably win. I just feels like a turf horse, and this time of the year, you know, and you know better than anyone. I just feel like this is that. Let's just make sure that we don't have a horse we can use for the winner on the dirt. Okay, we don't. Okay, let's center to the farm, or go down south.
All right, see what happens in race number 4. Pick 6 with a carryover, 20,630, kicks off in race number 5. And we'll take a look at Stewie. You know, Stewie's probably going to win this race. Here's the thing. This is Stewie. I like to show this race because he beat me a nose. This is the only time that he has ever rated successfully in a race. And he did with IRAD and got it done. I just don't trust him to be able to rate and win. And with the presence of Looms Boldly, it's hard to see him being in front, right?
No.
That's just what worries me about him.
Yeah, no, because, I mean, Looms Boldly is one that's going to get away from there.
I don't know if he can run anymore, but he's speed.
I just felt like this Stewie being drawn outside. I actually think maybe sometimes with horses like this, going the 7 can kind of help them a little bit. They don't have to get hustled as much. Just kind of let them roll around there. The draw for me, his
Draw is
last
perfect.
4 or 5 figures for me. Some of the, the other main competition is turf. The rest of them you're hoping for. Just like I'm sure that everyone who's ever tried to bet on, or when Brad Cox and Gustavo Rodriguez, hoping that Ship Sational will turn into that horse from his 3-year-old year.
3-year-old. Do you know his last win was? Do you know what his last win was? The Sleepy Hollow, over 4 years ago. Now, he has second to Classic Causeway in the Sam Davis, and I think a third, beating a photo in the Tampa Bay Derby. But he has not won a race since the Sleepy Hollow. And the problem I have with him, and I've got him third, you got him nowhere. And I'm not sure
I gave up on him.
you're probably
I fell
right.
for it a lot.
I know. Well, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I mean, when Mike Dobb claimed this horse with Brad Cox, this horse has a big turf pedigree. And we were talking about in the show, why didn't Eddie ever run the horse in the turf? And I should probably apologize to him. And not that I give Eddie a hard time. I love Eddie. He's a good guy. And I think he's a good trainer as well. Mike said to me, I'm going to run him on the turf. They never did. And not only did they never run on the turf, they put him in for a quarter. So I wonder if they worked him on the turf or they tried him on the, gallop on the turf and he couldn't run, couldn't handle it. And you just kind of wonder, can this guy run at all anymore?
Yeah, I
There's
gave
a
up.
lot of
I've
negatives.
fallen for him a lot.
There are a lot, and I can't take Looms Boldly. He's just lost his form. And he's got to get 7 with Stewie breathing down the throat. I'm looking through, and it's like, where am I going to go in this race when I know somebody else? I don't love the thrill of it. Don't get me wrong. But I think he's run okay enough in his races that he can run a fast enough race in the dirt to win. And if I'm right that the 1 and 7 kind of get a little bit leg weary down the stretch, he's the one I want closing, not Shipsational, who, like you, I just don't trust anymore.
Well, if your theory about Looms Boldly, which I agree with, probably not being able to run anymore, and he's speed
He's
from
not
the
Looms.
inside.
He's not a terrible horse,
No,
but he's not the
he's not.
Looms Boldly
Yeah.
that we used to know.
He could win a New York bred stake.
Right.
If he's sent away from there aggressively, he doesn't want to go to 7, he can't run anymore, then he'll come back. The 7, Stewie, if Stewie needs the lead, you only seen him rate 1 time,
Beating
suddenly,
me at 9-1.
Suddenly the 4,
Bitter.
is in the mix. I don't have a problem.
That was more my theory. That's the start of the pick 6, the late pick 5, and you got to opt in for that $5,000 hit and split. Up after a quick break.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Jonathan and Andy. Race number 6, kicking off that late pick 5. And I'll tell you one thing. Your pick, Noda's job got easier when Mr. Papa Giorgio scratched.
Yeah, no, for certain. I actually thought Mr. Papa Giorgio had an okay shot. I was a little bit interested in trying to beat him, but
Your price went down considerably. As
yeah,
did mine.
yeah, for sure. Noted is just you said it in the last race. I just think Noted's the best horse in the race. I think that his style
Ran well last time.
fits just right where I need him. And I think he's a little dirtied up by his last race too. You know, when you show speed like that, you get. I thought he had a lot of pressure in that race early, more than you
Yeah, for
want.
Mr. Papa Giorgio, he beat by almost 3 lengths.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's something. I mean, I don't think I'm breaking ground here, but for people out there, and I know you look at this too, when you see a horse that runs like this and they're in a speed duel, you have. That's the beauty of Formulator too. You got to look at who was in the pace with them. I mean, you have to. I mean, I know this is second nature to a lot of people, but maybe not to everybody. You've got to look up and see who they were dueling with. Now, this race is strictly easy because the horse is right inside of her, but you want to look how did the race play out, and this race fell apart.
Because as a good horse, you have to assume that they were engaged and had to run a lot longer than they would have to if they were facing a lesser.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And, a horse like Chicabello is sort of compromised by having less speed in the race. Not that he's that slow, but he's better off if he can get some pace to run at. And there aren't that many alternatives in here that take. I went to Ridgewood Runner. I don't know if he can still run. He was bad last time. He was in a race that he should have been able to win. He couldn't even make the lead in there, and I don't think they were exactly flying around there. It was a muddy seal track. He's handled wet tracks before, but horses get quirky with wet tracks, and I'm going to take him off the claim by the notice, who had a little success when they came back. They have not had much success lately, but I'm going to take Ridgewood Runner. But, geez, don't they just feel like the 2 in here, though you have the 4 Knox in between?
yeah, what about? I mean, what, 28% the notice in 2025? Only 7 wins. I haven't been running a lot of races, but
No. I think a bunch of them were out of town, though.
yeah.
I think he had 2 wins in New York, maybe 3.
Yeah, I just thought Knox was like one of those typical horses that'll come running late. For exotic players, exact to try super players. I think Knox is a great horse to try to build around. In that
You're
situation.
playing the pick 6. Do you use the 3 and 6? Or
Um,
do you 6A and the 3 of B or C? You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I doubt you're putting in a lot more money on Knox in the pick 6 than you would
No.
on the 3.
no. I mean, the way that I would make that decision, and I hadn't formulated the ticket yet
More
for
of
the pick six.
concept.
It's more of what you're going to do the rest of the way.
Right.
I'm not going to let Knox win, and then I miss.
You're smart in all the other races and you miss.
right.
That's fair.
I would probably look at more of like Ridgewood Warner and noted the 3 and the 6 as A's, and then use the 4 as a B type.
But you want to bet a 6-4 in the race.
Right, exactly. Or now look, if I have a couple of singles the rest of the way, I'll use 3, 4, 6 as A's because while you are putting a little bit more money on the 4 than you probably would like, it's worth it because if the 4 wins, you suddenly have a ton of equity moving forward.
Well, especially if you have stronger opinions that you don't mind leaning on, right or wrong,
Right.
the rest of the card. Right. I think that's the thing that gets lost in these conversations is no decision is made in isolation, a vacuum, in one race, because every decision you make in any race depends on decisions you make in the next race. Let's say you feel like you only want to have six combinations out of 2 races. So you've got 3 and 3. You got to figure out which one of the ones you want to put as a lower C or something in those situations. It's like hitting pick 6s is about putting your tickets together. If you think it's about handicapping, you haven't played the pick 6 and you have certainly not hit pick 6s over long run.
No. It's about
Handicapping gets
handicapping
matters, but
to me it's about handicapping 1 or 2 races.
yeah, that's fair.
And the rest of them, you just need to like not let that mess up the other opinions.
Well, one of the things that the doc said to me many years ago, and he had, was an incredibly successful pick 6 player, was this notion that 2 short-priced horses in the sequence, I don't want to play. There's a $3 horse and a $3.40 horse. I don't want to play. What's going to pay? Pick 6 does not depend on those horses. It's what happens in the other 4 races that matters. And if you get $2, $3 horses, I had a pick 6 for $160,000. There was a $3 horse in the sequence, and none of them were, I had one big price in there, one $38 horse, but they weren't like huge prices.
No.
I had one, it was an old pool a long, long time ago. The biggest price was Sea Hero, $15 in the Travers, but not a single favorite won in the entire sequence.
That's all that matters. You just got to knock out other people's singles in other races.
Right. Yeah.
That's where you really pick
It's the psychology of pick 6s is incredibly interesting. Race number 7. I thought race number 7 was more interesting than you did, and we'll show your horse Freedom Maker, and you're gonna rely on for the next couple of races this race being a strong race because you like the winner and you like this horse.
Yeah, look, this is one of those situations when you get to these maiden claiming races. One of the things I hate the most, as I reset my iPad, is horses that have had lots of opportunities at these levels and just can't find a way to get it done.
That's my problem with this horse.
They always find someone to get him beat. The problem is they're kind of all like that, right? The horse I picked second, the one.
Well, the one's only run once in the dirt and ran in a killer field first time out.
Right. This is the one I thought was a little bit interesting, but the turf threw me off a little bit, where I couldn't pick the horse on top. I understand why you did. I just thought Freedom Maker has actually run really well since switching to Fernando Abreu's barn. I thought that he's improving, going in the right direction, and I thought the last race was pretty good. It was wide all the way around there, lost ground, and I think the cutback's going to help quite a bit. This horse will be finishing.
I don't disagree with any of that. I just not the kind of horse that I want to bet on, and if he wins, I'm going to lose. I wanted to pick Career Risk, but I thought he'd probably be the favorite. Career Risk, it's very possible that he was on a bad rail both of his dirt races. I'm not convinced the rail was bad, but I think there's some evidence. Did you have the rails off in either of those two races? Because I thought there was a chance that you didn't want to be inside both times he ran, both closing day at Saratoga and July 30th. And then Linda went to the turf after she claimed there was some Chad. Now, he might just also be a Chad Brown sort of reject that stinks, and he's going to be a short price. Whereas Luff I'm not going to pronounce it correctly. It's some Irish thing. I'll have to ask Jimmy how to pronounce it. I mean, it's not just, I don't care that he lost his first start by 30 lengths. He showed speed in there. He was chasing a fast pace, set by that El Prestigio, who was the speed. Ferocious, I know that Ferocious didn't pan out. I don't blame them for what happened with Ferocious, where they ran him. I'm not sure he wasn't a sprinter all along. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in general with him. He was obviously very talented. Prater came back, and Prater beaten when he won his maiden his next start.
Yeah,
some bum. Sovereignty.
That's what
right.
I thought, yeah.
Now, Sovereignty was a little more against the track than Prater was that day, to be fair, but still. So I know you agree. I like horses that it's not like he was 20 lengths behind the whole way around the track. This horse.
No, look, I think when you look at like the class level, if there's like a pure class number, I think this horse would be the highest rated horse from a class standpoint.
He's where I am going in race number 7. Race number 8. So we'll start out with the Boondocker, who is the chalk. And you know what? I don't totally trust this horse, but Tom took a shot. Tom has had a lot of success. This is his race 3 back when he lost to Wise Up, who came back with a big win in a subsequent start and actually ran second to Rated by Merit in the the Discovery at a mile. Tom's had a lot of success claiming horses running with the turf first time. This would not be one of them. But he also got involved in the pace that totally fell apart in there. I just thought he might be better than these horses. I can understand, though, being a little bit wary of a horse claim from Chad Brown.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Tom obviously claimed the horse with the intent of moving to the grass. And that, not that it, like you said, I don't think it was a
He's
complete
done very
flop.
well claiming horses and putting them on the turf for the first time.
Yeah.
So.
And now coming back here, but it's that time of the year where, sometimes you're forced to do that. Who knows? Maybe Tom wanted to run him back on the grass again.
Well, try the turf, and knowing the turf season coming to an end, if he doesn't handle it, he knows he can run in the dirt.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question with you on Last Man Standing. This does not help you for the pick 6. But let's just say you're playing race individually. Your horse runs lousy in race number 7. Does that move him down, or do you think it's apples and oranges a little bit?
No, I mean, certainly I think that the strength of schedule, who they faced and that whole thing, you can definitely apply it. Yeah, I mean, I'd be a little bit frustrated maybe looking, if I'm alive for a little bit of a score, maybe looking at playing a pick 3 out of there, something along those lines. That's just another theory. Using the pick 5, pick 4, pick 3, and doubles as not necessarily like cold hedges, but just alternate hedges if you're alive for opportunities, I think is underutilized.
I agree with that. Worked out some great hedges over time in pick 3s. The thing that I like about the pick 3 is the rolling pick 3. You can choose which one you want to get into. I think the pick 3 for me as a player is, let's say I really like a horse, and it's going to be like 2 to 1, and I don't want to bet the horse to win. I want $100 to win or $50 to win or something on the horse at 2 to 1. You look at the pick 3 and you find the sequence where one race you feel like you can narrow it down to 2 or 3, and one race where you think the favorite's really vulnerable. So maybe you use the favorite, but you use some others and give yourself a chance. And you find, if you can find that pick 3 sequence, that's a good way to invest your money, where you have a chance to turn that 2-to-1 shot into an 8-to-1 shot.
Yeah. I also like to use the pick 3 to hide a horse that I like a lot that I think could be buzzy.
Yeah, that's gonna not take as much money to pick 3 and gonna get
you
bet more.
get
I
alive to
totally
him
agree.
rather than letting him first flash at 1-9 and then every mope in the world's gonna bet $5 to win on the horse and suddenly the win price goes down.
So the big better yesterday bet 30,000 on She's No Angel. The Angel horse of Linda's that lost with the Angels.
yeah.
Came back and bet 30 or more on Lush Lips, who just held on in the Mrs. Revere, unfortunately beating the horse I bet there. Did not get his money back, though, at a short price. Those are crazy bets. I don't dislike the 8. What did you think of Union Express getting back on the dirt? Because I thought the dirt races were okay with this horse. I thought this horse a little. I mean, we kind of agree here.
Yeah, I think you had to go a little bit deep for the dirt races. That was more using Union Express was a little bit more of like disliking some of the other single-digit odd types.
I agree.
You know?
I don't like the one who's 5-to-1.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like Nance. I don't like the race Nance is coming out of, wet track or not. So that was my other horse, Union Express.
Yeah, I think he'll be, and I think also in these races, like, looking for horses that will be finishing, and he felt like one that will be finishing his race.
All right, we'll see what happens in race number 8. Race number 9. Race number 9, and you and I agree in this race. I think the only race that we really agree on today with Nuanced. We'll take a look, and I love the name because racing is all about nuance. The life is all about nuance. Listen, if Nuance runs this race, he's going to win. If you're somebody that worries about bounce, you're worried this horse is going to bounce. I'm not a big bounce guy. Woe to the horse that wants to try to run with this horse early because he is fast and he is good. I mean, I'm not sure he comes back off this maiden win and gets it done. But, man, if he runs back to this race, good luck to the others.
Look, he got a 91 buyer. Sinister 6 ran a 66 in that same race, came back and ran a 65. Bontemps ran a 31, came back and ran a 32. Those lower ones don't mean as much to me. The 65 to 66 means a little bit more. 91 is probably pretty darn close to real.
I think the other speed was a Todd Pletcher favorite to finish 4th, or was that the speed? I know it was Todd. Yeah, I'm not. This is not the kind of horse I love to take because they're going to be a short price, and you kind of missed the boat last time out.
Yeah.
But his last race, I mean, to ignore it, but he did drop him in for 50, so it makes me worry a little bit. Though I will say, Chad kind of liked this horse first time out. Now he was wrong first time out, but he wasn't wrong about the horse.
Right, but there's a lot of operations that having starter allowance types, maiden 50 types is not what their program is built on. And I think you would agree that Seth and Chad's program is not built on those types of horses. When they end up in those situations, I don't necessarily have a problem. I don't look at it as like, I don't trust this one.
That was some race this horse ran last time.
Ran huge.
I mean, now, Golden Symphony is the horse that will probably be stalking him on the outside for Tom. We'll show his second last time. I will say one thing. This horse really ran well last time, but you've got him second. I just wonder if he's a last time as the time horse, and I just have trouble making him win this race because even if Nuance loses, wasn't one of the reasons he loses because this guy puts pressure on him?
Yeah, when he wins, he gets clear and he opens up. I don't envision him getting clear and opening up. I mean, sure, I guess he could look Nuance in the eye and beat him. That's just it's a hard race for me to design.
I'm going to use Golden Plate in here as my backup horse, the number 6. This horse, I like how aggressive Linda was with this horse and continues to be with this horse. And I'll be honest, I think he's better than his last race appears. And I think he'll run better than he ran last time out. So I'm going to use him as my other horse. Obviously, he can't win if either the 2 or 9 run their better races. What do you do with Porosity, who we both have third?
Yeah, I thought the horse.
He ran last.
Yeah, and he. I thought he maybe moved a little early too. I love a little middle move. I think sometimes those can.
He was good.
Yeah, I think it's the. It's funny. I haven't said this before out loud, but I think it's right. I think the middle move is the inter-race version of the gallop out.
Only better.
Yeah.
Because it matters.
It happens to-
And with the gallop out, Gallops outs can matter. The problem is you don't really know when they do.
Yeah,
People
you
get
can't tell.
entranced by Gallop. I get entranced by them too. When I watch replays, and I know you too, when you see horses that are making the runs, I watch the Gallop outs too. I'm not, even though I joke about it, it's not something I don't pay attention to. I'm just never sure what it really means. Whereas a middle move, especially a horse that moves into a quick pace, makes that middle move, and then falters late in the race.
Yeah.
But they did running in the race at a very key moment in the race.
Yeah, no, this horse is interesting.
This horse ran. No, I'm not going to be surprised when he runs better in here as well. Anybody else to talk about?
I think I probably just threw someone in for fourth. The one.
I'm very curious to see what Nuance does today, because he could blow up or he could be pretty good this horse. 'Cause that was a very big effort last time out. Race number 10 is a fun race, and you and I are on similar pages in race 10. We just sort of flip. In fact, in this race, we managed to do the same 4 horses, which is sort of amazing. We'll start with the horse you have on top, Mo 88, and this is a difficult conversation. Did this horse just happen to run well in a sloppy off-the-turf race, or was that like a really good race? Because I don't really know how the winner won, except that he beat me and Butta, who came back and ran huge. But Butta came back and ran huge out of this race, and I don't think that George Briggs got the best of rides in his next race on the turf. I thought he was way too far back. This horse ran on the surface things. If he runs this race on a dry track today, he's going to win.
Well, he was. If you look at his Timeform US figures, he ran from debut till the dirt race. He went 93, 98, 97, 98 on the dirt. The
What a
key number
sloppy
is
field.
98, 97, 98. So he ran those numbers all in conjunction with each other. Now he's gotten a little bit better, I think. He's run 103, 104.
Okay.
So if he stays in that same arena of
He's improved.
this is what I'm going to do when I get on the dirt, he could run like a 104-ish, and I think that can absolutely win this race.
What about the Maggie theory, which I go back and forth on at times, but it's not without some validity, that turf horses like sloppy sealed tracks?
Yeah,
That's what worries me.
yeah, in and out, in and out. I'm not a professional, obviously, when it comes to action, but I have been told before that turf action is more pokey in and out rather than the dirt. So
Well, she talks about it, and she's not wrong. I mean, I don't think there's no absolutes in horse racing. If you think they're absolutes, this is the wrong game for you. You have to be nuanced. But I think it is a valid thing, especially when you're talking about a horse that's going to be favored in this race.
Yeah.
But leaving this horse out, I think, would be idiotic in a pick 6. As far as Concord Spirit, who will show, and I'm going to show the last race, I mean, I got to tell you something. This horse ran last time, and I think there's an argument that maybe the rail was a little bit of an advantage, and the horse that beats him was a heavy, heavy favorite in here, and this was off the claim for Gustavo. I mean, if he runs back to this race, he's going to be tough, isn't he?
Absolutely. If you think the rail was the place to be, he wasn't on the rail.
It didn't come out of nowhere either. He's got back races that are fast.
Of course. And this is just one of those situations, I think, as of late. I don't know why I've kind of turned the corner on this, but I'm horses that are drawn poorly they really start to drift up nowadays, it feels like. 2 or 3 points, it feels like it's really kind of blown up out of proportion to me. I mean, Concord Spirit can very easily end up in the 2 path.
Why am I worried? Yeah, he's got a half a mile before they hit the turn. I don't care where he is. Look at Ustery's Alley. Yeah. I mean, you know what Ustery's Alley is?
No. Who's that?
Oh, Bobby Ustery used to ride. Migs never told you about Ustery's. Mig loves to talk about Ustery. Old timers, of course. No, Bobby Ustery's a rider here, and he liked the long chutes at Aqueduct. He would stay on the far outside and on the lead, and then he would cut in as they got to the turn. Talk to Mig about it. Oh yeah, it's a fairly well known.
That's how I used to play Gran Turismo, the racing game on PlayStation.
Really? We should, when we're getting ready to close Aqueduct, those sad days in June, we should do a thing on Ustery's Alley. We should get Richie on that. He'll like that. What about Mo for the King, who I have 3rd and 4th? You know, I bet him last time. He ran huge in there. My problem is I just worry he may get too much pressure, but he really ran well last time.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that he uses that speed to hold position. But I fear that he's going to use that speed to get hooked. That's probably why he's a little bit further back for me, but he's not impossible. I would definitely be very uncomfortable if I wasn't alive to him in the pick 6.
Yeah, I think he's interesting, but it depends how much pressure, where it's like Unbroken Chain puts on him. And you do know that Unbroken Chain, of course, is a Grateful Dead song.
Of course I knew that. I listened to the
Jonathan listens to some Dead. Jonathan texted me. You were out one day and you were listening. You were asking for some.
I'm just trying to learn a little bit.
No, it's good. Jonathan goes to more Fish shows than I do. Anyway, thanks. Jonathan will be here tomorrow as well, assuming he gets back from his 2 hours in Texas. You need to head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code bonus200 will match with $200 of your initial deposit. Play through NyraBets, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. By the let's see, we got $20,630 in race 5 in the pick 6. Pick 5 starts in race 6. Opt in over at NyraBets for the $5,000 hit and split. Eddie, are you okay, Eddie? Maybe you fell or something. We've also got a 10 times rewards points at, I think, Del Mar. As a penultimate card at Del Mar. The penultimate card at Churchill as well. Always a good day when you could use the word penultimate. 10% win bonus. Opt in for that as well. Cross country pick 5. Eddie's hard at work putting his tickets there right now. 2 at Tampa, 3 at Aqueduct, all on America's Day at the races. And 11:30 to 4:30 on FS2. You are on early. I am on late.
Yep.
Are you going right here, right to the airport with the fishing rod?
Pretty much, yep.
Do they let you take the fishing rod on the
Yeah,
airplane?
just put it in the overhead. It's
Really?
like, yeah, it
It's not a
collapses.
weapon?
No, it collapses.
We're done. Chris Griffin's just getting started. He's up next with the reprise scratches and changes. Have a great day at the Big A.
You bet with NyraBets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NyraBets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NyraBets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NyraBets.